Oh yeah, I think you might have muted.
It's on the camera here. I'm coming. I'm just trying to fix it. I don't. It should be working, but you know what these things are like. So, hold on. I'll mute the camera again. Can you hear this? Is this one working? It is working, I can see. I don't know. Whoa, that's loud. I'm sorry. Is that working? Hold on. There you go. You can hear me now. Hey, hello, hello. Hello, can you hear me? Jesus Christ. We're back to normal now. Hello. We hear you. Jesus. It's because it's Discord is causing the problems, as usual. I'm going to blame Discord. I muted the Discord channel, which muted my mic for some absolutely not related reason. Hold on. So I work this streaming malarkey, isn't it? How are we, everybody? I'll try that again. How are you doing? You can now yeah, you can now share my suffering of my bad cup of tea that I made. It's terrible. Look at the colour of this. Look at the colour. Look at it. It's supposed to be the colour of He-Man's face. That does not look like He-Man's face. That looks like a pate. Horrendous. Discord and OBS doesn't work well together. Aragon, you are correct. They do not work well together. How are we, everybody? So who have we got in there? So yeah, so we are live on Twitch, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on Kick. Still not had anyone care about that yet, but I'm, this time. So you can watch on whatever platform you like. Apparently I've got 8 followers on Kick. Who knew? Who knew? Who have we got here this evening? Who have we got here? Ductopus. Hello, Ductopus. I saw on the other chat. Rose Cottage. Hello. Imponix. Lady Infernum. Nutson TV. Hello, everybody. Saturn 9. Hello. How you doing? Welcome. I don't know why I had to say it about 20 times your name then. It just my tongue had to feel it. And I've noticed that the YouTube chat just suddenly is not appearing. Do you know what? The streaming malarkey. I should just stream on Twitch. It'd be so much easier. So much easier. So let me try and get you some. Let me try and get you some chat. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So you can actually see the YouTube chat as well. Oh, Baz the Dev. Hello. How you doing? Yeah. Wait, I'm trying to fix the chat. But welcome along, everybody. You've got time to go and make a cup of tea or coffee or whatever you make. Mulled wine. Deer juice. Whatever you make. You only sound on the left channel. Good. Just what I want. Thank you. I can fix it. There you go. How's that? Can you hear me on both channels now? Can you hear me in stereo? There, streaming. Don't do it. If you fancy streaming, just don't bother. Don't bother. It's a nightmare. Yay, I'm on stereo now. Way, perfect, yay. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Again, you have no idea the hassles it causes streaming. So any problems, please tell me. Don't just sit there suffering. Don't suffer in silence. Share the audio pain. That's another one I need. Audio pain. I need a t-shirt. Audio pain. I did actually design a t-shirt. I don't know if it's on the store or not, but I did design a t-shirt that I was going to wear that just said audio issues because I was so sick. And look, hang on a minute. The bot is even posting up the old tweet. What is going on? Yeah, so it said audio issues just in the corner because I knew I was going to have audio issues every stream, so I could just point to it when you couldn't hear me. I should have made it right. Let me catch up. It was working perfectly earlier, but I'd obviously touched something, so I'll catch you up. So Bot tricks. What are you doing? Why are you displaying now? Why are you displaying this now? Do you want to save changes? Yeah. Right. Okay. That should. Don't know why I'm saying that. That should. Let me turn YouTube off and on. Hit save. Are we back? Are we back? You got any YouTube yet? Come on. Come on, YouTube. Hi, YouTube people. Talk, YouTube people. YouTube. Seb, hello, Seb. Nice to see you again. Right, so while we're suffering here, I'm going to bring in my guest now because, yeah, he can suffer with me. So we'll do that. So maybe you can do a song and dance while I'm fixing bugs. Oh, it is working now. Botrix is caught up. Cheers, Bot. Thanks, Bot. Good effort. Good job. So anyway, this is hang on, what are we on? This is season 1, episode 1 of game 2 of DevTales. May need to rework the naming on this because it's a bit confusing. So this is basically the second developer showing their game for DevTales. If you don't know what DevTales is, I'm pretty sure everybody was here last week. But if you don't know what it is, this is a series of live streams where we're going to be following the journey of a game being developed. We are coming in almost pretty much at the start. I mean, maybe alpha is probably a more accurate thing, but maybe alpha or the very start of a game development process. We're going to be following the process once a month with each developer and just catching up on how their progress is going, sharing how they've got on each week, just so we can follow along and see how they're getting on. If you're a developer or creator or anything and you've got a suggestion, then the developer would love to see it, I'm sure. Now I'm just trying to fix your chat so everybody can see all the chat. So let me just fix that. So let me, first of all, so as you see, you don't see it because it's not working. Of course it isn't. God. So let me introduce Ash. Right, Ash, I'm going to bring you in, man, because this is a disaster here, isn't it? So Ash from Otter Make Games is here with us. So can I do this without breaking something else? Doubtful. So let me move over. Bam. Way, Ash, hello. Oh, he can't hear us now. We can't hear Ash now.
I pressed the button. I had my finger on the giant red mute button on my mic.
Good,
Just
you're doing it as well.
Good.
You know? I'm glad
like
you're.
I had a piece of paper over it, like Apollo 13. You know, sweat. Anyway, hi, how are you?
Oh, wonderful. So everybody, say hello to Ash.
Hi, I'm Ash. Of Otter Make Games.
Otter Make Games. If you want to follow Ash, by the way, every 10 minutes or so, you're going to be spammed with this. The Twitter is in the chat, so you can see there. Just click on that. Go follow Ash. Right. I still haven't fixed it.
Hey, Duck Octopus Games. Oh, that's an awesome name.
Ductopus, yeah, it is a good name. A regular, again, lots of regulars here. I appreciate it very much, everybody. Cool. I'm still trying to get the chat to appear.
It's technology, you know. It's terrible towards the end. I mean, I love it because like all in different ways we're trying to like push through a vision of what we have in our head, out through our head, into our computers, and hopefully out the backside.
Yeah, just work.
And
no,
just work, please. Yeah,
no,
this like.
Not interested. Don't want to do that.
No.
But luckily,
where's the one press button?
Luckily, you are also a streamer, so you absolutely understand the absolute chaos.
100%. It's not just the stream, right? Like people think that, and you're like, no, I have to do it and schedule it and put it out.
It's not me, it's us. Yeah, right.
No, it's.
I've put the chat on again. I've done it again. I don't know if it's going to work, but I have.
What's up, Daredevil? Oh, he got his name shortened on Twitch.
Oh yeah, with the double underscore there. Smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Yeah. Oh, that's how he was able to do it.
So I'm trying to. So we do have YouTube again. I'm trying to get it so you can see the YouTube chat. I don't know why it's not working. It worked the last stream, and I've touched nothing.
It's good. I can song and dance relatively okay.
Good. That's
maybe
good.
Kind of mid.
Excellent.
Manage expectations.
Chad at Indiescape. Hello, Chad. OMG in Ponix. I played your demo and I love it. Oh. Let me know it, Lady Infernum. Awesome. Yeah, Seb has said hello to Seb. Who else we got here? Anyone else? Okay, YouTube. I'm up to date. I'm up to date with the YouTube chat. Gremlins in your studio. I'm just trying to see if I can fix it. I don't know why. It doesn't want to show YouTube. Why is that? Fix it. Come on.
YouTube has all the problems.
Fix it.
Even just trying to push a video to YouTube is like...
It's a nightmare, isn't it? It's so fiddly.
The hidden cost you never expect because you just think, oh, that's just going to be a button. Start the stream. Post a video. That's it. Fine.
It's easy.
We're learning. I'm learning.
Okay, let me go to YouTube then. Let's go to... That's the wrong thing though too. So I'm just currently trying to go into the chat and trying to fix the YouTube chat because I don't know why it's not working. Right, that's the same. Come on, we need to see both chats, everybody. Come on.
It's just do some proper transmutation work or something. I don't know.
I don't know why.
Make a vision board. Set an intention for YouTube.
But the thing is, you can't test the chat off stream. So it's like it doesn't work. It's just like, wow, I don't know. You can't actually save it. We'll get there. We'll get there, everybody. Don't worry. Right, I'm going to turn all the chats back on. I'm going to even add it as a new source, like for no reason at all. I'm going to delete that Boxers chat. Bye chat. Sorry, you're going off the screen. 1 second. There you go. I'm going to add it again. I'll call it Botrix chat again. Bam. Oh, 400 by, I think it's 400 by 400. No, 400 by 600. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Shooting ductopus. We can say anything we want now. No rules. Like, yeah, there.
You can.
I love that. Oh, perfect. Great. Pause.
Go. Go chat. Come on. It's showing me in the preview on the street. It's showing me that you're talking on YouTube. That should be working.
Yeah.
Come on, catch up, YouTube. Come on.
What's up?
Sort your life out, YouTube. Come on. Let's do it by 800 actually.
So it's perfect that I actually have action figures at my desk. Like, this is better than some names, honestly.
It's there. Just display. Oh, there you go. So there's someone on YouTube talk. Someone on YouTube put something. Come on now. Oh, I can do it. What am I talking about?
Tails.
Talk amongst yourself, everybody. Talk amongst yourselves. Well, my chat hasn't come up. There's a massive delay.
Yeah, I had to figure that out because if I have your audio coming from Discord, because if I have your audio coming from Twitch, then we're going to get that weird pause that all satellite interviews had in the news in the 90s.
Yeah, and they're like,
And
well,
just standing there
Graham.
going, oh, 15 minutes, seconds later, oh, yes.
Oh, look, Kick works. It's just YouTube. So the Kick chat. Well, so basically, we're stuck. If you're on YouTube, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to see the YouTube chat. If you want to watch on Kick or Twitch, if you want to watch on YouTube or Twitch, no, on Twitch or Kick, it will work fine, and I can see all your questions. If you're on YouTube, it just doesn't want to display the chat. I don't know why.
Good luck and Godspeed, YouTube users.
Yeah. How is Kick working? Sort your life out, YouTube. Right, okay. So, yeah, I will try and keep an eye on the YouTube questions, everybody. If you want to watch on YouTube, I will try to keep it open for you. And we'll have to go from there. The IT guy. Did you try? Well, the problem is you can't restart once you've gone live. Otherwise, you have to close down the whole stream. So, yeah. I don't know why it's not working. It should be working. There's no reason for it to not be working. I'm seeing it in the preview. It's just not displaying on screen. Arriving late. Which one is Rich? Slice Bar. Hello, Slice Bar. Which one is Rich? Nice. Oh, I feel it. Hang on. Wait. I can't have this. We got. If we're looking cool, we better both look cool.
Oh, yeah, get on it. Get the Bruce Dickinson special where, it's like...
Can't be out haired.
We, bring in the John Romero today,
Look at this. This is, the cool level's just gone right up. This is it.
Musical taste increases.
Looks like we've got a gorgeous long hair overload on stream tonight. You've met your equal videos. They are Essie. Hey, man. How you doing? Hello. If you don't know, YouTube chat is not working. So I would rather you all watched on YouTube, but YouTube do not make it easy. So we will try and at least start, I think, everybody, because it's been half an hour and we've done absolutely nothing apart from let my hair down.
It was a good hair move.
Hair reveal. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, as I was saying, when it probably all broke, I'll start it again. Welcome to DevTales. This is featuring Automate Games. This is Season 1, Episode 1 of Game Number 2, which we don't know what it is yet, so that's a surprise for you all.
I hope it's good.
Yeah, and I've also let myself down. Arctail, I've let myself down, and everybody, you should be shouting at me, because I'm supposed to say woohoo every time I say DevTales. Woohoo! So, welcome to DevTales. Woohoo! Arctail, I'm not going to say woohoo after your name as well, because it's just going to get ridiculous. This is going to be like a meme. Welcome along, everybody. Thank you for joining. I don't know.
Cheers.
This is going
Thanks
somewhere.
for having me on.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I promise there's a point to this.
Something, I know.
Right, so yeah. Again, like I said, I won't be able to see the stream. Won't be able to see the YouTube chat for whatever reason. Waffling. I have to waffle off grid. Hello, off grid. How you doing? So we're gonna make a start. I've got a list.
Oh, damn. It's official.
Let us begin. So, again, Ash, welcome along. It's awesome to see you. I'm really excited to start this series with you.
Thanks for having me.
So, why don't we start, for the people who don't know, I mean, who doesn't? Come on. Do you want to introduce yourself? Let us know who you are, where you're coming from, and just a bit of background about yourself.
Sure. Well, I'm Ash. I'm the otter behind Automate Games. And I've only recently started... I've been in the games industry for probably 14 years now, plus an extra 4 for when I was in school. I had gone through AAA. I had been working at BioWare and for like 9.5 years. And then I think I got to that point when I turned 40 and I was like, this is the time in my life for a midlife crisis and I should start an indie games company. No, not really. I've been really wanting to do this for like a long time and it just kind of felt like it was the right time to do it. About only just a couple months in, so there's not like everything to show. I share what work I have, but yeah.
Yeah.
hopefully keeping the games small. So yeah.
Yeah, see, I like that. That's
your,
so that is your idea, isn't it? So again, we'll go into this in more detail in a bit. But so you've coming from again BioWare and EA. Am I right? EA as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes,
they
correct.
are two like juggernauts of the industry. So it's a really interesting fact that you're coming from such a different world, and
Yeah.
it's a jump that a lot of people are making. And, a lot of people, but it is a brave step to leave a big AAA studio to come and just suddenly you've got to do absolutely everything, which you are now learning, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many unknowns and blind spots that you have, and I know that's why I just get massive respect for a lot of the indie devs I've been following on Twitter already, because when you're working on a 300-person team and you're making this tiny little thing here, this cog here, and that's all you do, you're specialized, it's a different work. And now it's like, oh, I'm not making the cog, I'm making the whole thing, and you're kind of like seeing other devs kind of like live and go through that same thing. Yeah, but it's kind of a nice return to form a little bit, because when I went through game school, there was a lot of my own solo projects but I just knew barely anything at that point, and things took forever to do. I went and worked in mobile for like 3 years, and after mobile, I got that's when I got work with EA. I was working with them with Command and Conquer, and that got canceled, and I just stuck around doing some cinematics trailer shots before that's where I got picked up for BioWare. So it's kind of like went from tiny stealth mobile team to big studio, and now kind of back down to working my stuff.
Okay, so you did. So tell us how did you get into? Let's start way back. I mean, I don't mean life story.
First Goomba I died on.
Yeah, yeah. Why? So what got you into? Not what you got into game. Everybody knows you play games and you love it. That's why you get into it. But I mean, why? What's the question I'm trying to ask here? Like, how did you get into development as such? I mean, what was the sort of trigger point where you thought, do you know what, I'm going to try and make games? And what were you doing at like BioWare specifically? Was it code developing, or what kind of developer are you? Where is your main focus?
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's a great question.
I've got a lot of tea to drink, so you can.
Yeah. No. Quick. I just want to pause because somebody called out my Return of the Living Dead shirt. Rose Cottage Games.
Go for it.
Yes. Send more paramedics.
Oh.
Sorry. Anyway.
Good shirt.
So obviously I've been into games since I was a kid. I would play Link to the Past in 4th grade and draw out I loved the world map so much that I'd want to go and draw my own world maps. I didn't know anything about D&D or anybody at the time, so it was just doing all this. So it was kind of always there. And then I got out of high school and into my 20s, and I was just still obsessive with games, and I was working with EB Games. EB Games led me to running into somebody who ran the game art school in my area, and it was like just kind of always primed to want to make games, and that was the first time I kind of got like, oh, I can consider this seriously. Because I think up until that, well, not that exact moment, but like most game development was always you did everything on your own and you just sent it to the companies, or you got in a certain way or network. The idea of having schools to go and get your bachelor's wasn't really there. Through school, there was a game art design, so I did a lot of design and art and code and writing. It was basically a really mixed bag. I left doing art. I left school as an artist, and then with the mobile company, I got my first game idea picked up by a mobile company, and this is where I learned don't do that because they will change everything about the game. And this is when I actually switched over to code, because I showed this is the other thing you learn. If you pet the kitten, you keep the kitten. So if a team, you show that you can do some form of coding. I shifted more over to that, which is great because then I spent kind of 3 or 4 years hyper focused on building out coding. And then when I got picked up with EA, it was doing trailer shots, doing cinematics. So it was a shift back over towards the artistic side, but you're still using design of a 3D space, of setting up characters, animation, and camera, knowing how the shadows disappeared under the characters in this shot. We have to go talk to the technical animators because the shadows are only rendered out to a certain length. So to do this shot, we actually have to break the break it to work. By the way, anything in marketing, nothing's real, especially with AAA games. Nothing, like, none of it's real. And then while I was at BioWare, I went from I was a cinematic designer at the start, and by the end, I was a world systems animator, or a senior world systems animator, that focused more on the presentation of gameplay. Like when the player does interactions, what contextual spawn animations enemies will play. Like, does the enemy climb over onto a ledge before entering the combat space? Cool. Can I hit the enemy while they're in the middle of that animation? Like, so it was very much a mix of understanding gameplay, storytelling, and pacing, along with art and presentation. And as the designer, I would work with VFX, level artist, a level designer, an animator, and just kind of liaise and design a lot of the scenes that way, and that's kind of what I was doing by the end.
So why don't we may as well use this chance to flex a bit. So tell us about a couple of the games that you've worked on. What are some of your favourite games that you've worked on in a AAA studio? Do you have any favourites or any like big guns that you love?
I just think it's different feelings for all. Oh my god, what's it? Hold on.
Yeah,
different feelings.
Yeah.
For a lot of those, like, so Dragon Age Inquisition is the first one that got me the job there, and I love Dragon Age. I'm more I'm more into fantasy than I am into sci-fi. I like Mass Effect's great, but like I really enjoyed that. And that's when I got my first job, and I worked on Dragon Age and two of the expansion packs from there, doing some of the cinematic design, but also doing some of the in-game sequences. It's weird with Mass Effect Andromeda because like enough time has gone by that there were parts of the development that I really liked. I hated that game when we left. Obviously, the YouTube response to that was like bad and everything. And it was like, it was funny because like internally, you're all, like everybody was like, we just need like 6 more months, or you just knew it just needed a little bit more time in the oven. And which is, I think I got that sort of like validated because like a year later, after all the patches were done, people would reach out and they'd be like, hey, this is a lot better now. I'm like, oh, you mean when it's not broken all over the place?
Yeah,
great. Well,
yeah, where it should have been, yeah.
Where you lost your marketing window, right? You're like a year after launch. You're like, hey, you still want to try it? Maybe.
Very No Man's Sky comes to mind, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh god, I feel so bad. It's like, how do you like? That's a whole subject to
yeah.
Fixing a title from that. Like Anthem, I really loved. Like I got to touch a number of things on that, like with the climbing into the suit. I was the designer who worked with the animator on that. So you're in town, you click on the suit, and this is the whole thing about doing interactions, right? Where like I go up to the suit, I click A, and I climb into the suit. It's a cool looking animation. It can work from I think 180 degrees at different entry angles, and it still works. I think one of the first things I did after I hooked it up was I added a skip button because like because it's one of those things really in a game you're like, well, if this cool interaction is something I see once and it's bespoke, no, that's cool, let's see the whole thing. But if I have to see this every time I leave Fort Tarsus to go to the wilderness, I'm going to die inside.
Please don't show me again.
Please.
It's not cool anymore. Yeah, of course.
That's what I was a joke that I was a bad cinematics person because like I edit really tightly because I'm like we need to like get
a move
on. I'll skip through cutscenes. So that's why that's where I was working on Dreadwolf for I think the past 6 years. I obviously can't talk a lot about it because it's I think that's the one I like the most because that's the one I got to do a lot of the groundwork with laying out sort of that feel in the gameplay space. Sadly, like I left, I won't be able to see it. Like there's a whole story there, but I think that one's going to be pretty cool when it comes out. I'm excited to see it.
Okay, so I think we've established that you've got a very good CV, a very good sort of back catalogue of experience and history in the games industry, and you've decided to jump off on your own. Well, Automate Games is not just you, is that correct?
It is.
Oh, it's just you. Me and myself and I.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I'm fine with that. I can be pretty, I guess, yay, diagnosed autism. I can be pretty comfortable and okay in insular situations.
Yeah.
So I can just, oh, I get to go in my room and just work on my game and not like be bothered with people. That sounds great. You lose out on a lot of things, and I know I've already reached out to some of the devs about this. That's why I like these formats. Like when you had your episode like last week, I liked people being able to come together with other devs and like show stuff off or get feedback or just be able to hear stuff, like whatever it is, going from 300 people to one person, you kind of start to miss that piece.
Of course.
Like
Well,
there's no way to have scrum.
It's just conversation. I mean, generally most people like conversation. Whether you okay, you only want a little bit of conversation. It's like, all right, chill out now.
Yeah,
but you do want a little bit sometimes. You want to be able to go, oh, that's really cool. Okay, I'm going now.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah. That's why Twitch is great. Sorry. But...
No, you're right. But that's exactly what this kind of sort of live stream, because you do live stream your development as well. And what was the reason for live streaming? Was it to bring you that sort of community chatting feel, or was it just you thought things that people might find interesting? Did you have a particular reason?
Yeah, actually, there was like a couple reasons. One, it did kind of fix that. I missed that way back from art school when we had like the long 4-hour workshops and we're all around there talking. When you're doing code and stuff, you can't really be talking because the left side of your brain is occupied. But when you're doing art, I can sit there, I can draw, and people can ask questions, and I could still talk on top of that. And I remember in class we just kind of be talking back and forth the whole time while drawing. The other part, and this is like maybe the shrewd businessman in me, it was also like it'd be cool to have more footage because I also work on at least trying to work on a YouTube series. I'm on like 2 episodes in now, but like having footage to time lapse, it's always nice. But I think the thing I enjoy the most is the people, because going into the stream, I always get that cortisol reflex. So I'm like, I have to go talk with people. I have to be live with other people. But every time I come out of it, I'm like, oh man, that felt great. I'm so glad I did that.
It's funny because live streaming does do that. Again, I don't even think about it anymore. I just hit go live. And as you see, I just hello, whatever. But it does push you on. It's very addictive. Like it does make you want to feel like, oh yeah, I want to do that again for everybody. I want to interact with more people again. But you do have to also be careful with live streaming because it kind of makes you. For me, it makes me a lazy creator because I find live streaming so easy. I think, should I make a video or just go live and talk about it without having to script it? And so you end up just going live, and then like if you've got a YouTube channel as well, you end up thinking, oh, do I spend 6 hours recording that? Editing that video, a quick one, or do I just press the live button and I've still got an hour bit of content? And it makes you really lazy, so you got to be really careful with that.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, like because of the cinematics work, I do enjoy putting together the video, but that's like writing the script and recording it and then editing it together and getting footage to edit on top of that and doing the sound pass and getting it to YouTube, where I'm like, I can only do that maybe like once a month, maybe like twice a month if I push it. Twitch is like, it's quicker to it, but I think the format is better for the back and forth.
Yeah,
that you can have with other people.
So you don't get that on the YouTube comment. Nice. You can't have a YouTube comment conversation really. Whereas you can be working on something and have a bit of interaction. And you can be quite selective. You don't have to read the chat all the time. It's up to you. It's just personal choice. I have given you so like I said, you do stream on Twitch as well. So I have given you a shout out on the Twitch chat here. So everybody, please make sure you go and follow Ash on Twitch because again, he's a new streamer. So all the follows and the stuff, the better. So please go to Twitch and make sure you follow Ash on Twitch. That'd be great.
Please, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll share the YouTube as well after. I'll dig it out and find it in there somewhere. Nutson, Rich looks like his brother. What? What? Rich? Yeah, I'll take it. Studio Primitive. Hey, Studio Primitive. Nice to see you again. If you're on YouTube, we can't see the chat on the stream. It's only if you've actually got YouTube open. So if you want to be able to see the chat and see everybody's chat, please jump to Twitch or Kick because that appears on the screen. If you want it to appear on the screen, if you want to just type secret messages so no one will see, you can do it in YouTube because it's just not working. So yeah, okay. So let's move on to I should have made a note because I thought, oh, that's a good question. I'll ask that, and then I forgot while we were talking. Okay, so you are. So let's talk about your game idea, like, because I know again, I know this story, but I suppose everyone else doesn't. About you want to make. You're very story driven in your game design thinking, aren't you? And has that come from the AAA studios, or has that come from you? Are you naturally a very story driven person?
Yes to both.
Yes. Good.
Like, even like before I was at BioWare and doing these other things, like my husband and I, we've been together for like 16 years, and he's always like, you're always about this kind of story first. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess that's right. So it's like always been there, but I think it was just kind of like sharpened and shortened up through like the lens of that gameplay presentation. So when I come out, like that's kind of where my focus is. Though that's the other thing, is like learning to be aware of your blind spots. So for now, I'm like, well, that's where the focus is, but I might have to like adjust and see what we're out there. But yeah, I think. And
the other thing I wanted to say is that being a creator or being anyone who does work from home, you said about your husband being like, sounds like he's really supportive of what you do, and you cannot understate how important, if you've got a partner who just says that's cool, good luck, the weight is amazing to come off you. So it really does. If it's like, if you're in the sort of whatever relationship you're in, or you're not, whatever, if you don't have that sort of mindset around you, it's not a great idea to start this type of project, this type of, changing your life by developing at home. You've really kind of got to get that sort of sorted in your head first, because it will just interfere massively. So to have someone like say your husband's really supportive of what you do, it makes such a massive difference, doesn't it?
Oh, it's great. Yeah. He also does artwork and things like he does his own thing, but like it's nice because since I'm kind of in a vacuum this way, that like at the end of the day, I like, for when it comes to art, I could be like, hey, can you look at this thing at the end of the day just to get us like feedback? I was like, this past week when I was kind of like working on like the animated water sprite, it'd be like, hey, is this working? You come in and be like, it doesn't work. It's just not working right. I'm like, okay, try it. We'll do it again. And so it's a huge blessing to have that kind of feedback,
Yeah.
And you're definitely right. Even even outside of the spouse around you, like to support the lifestyle, to be able to do this, it's like the amount of everything else I need to kind of like to lock into place. You're like about like, how often are you going to be at home? When are you going to be working? What are the times you're going to? And then you're like, I don't know. You can go up on that.
Yeah, but. No, I know. It's like your door behind you. If the door's closed, don't come in. And knowing that they're going to go, oh, they're working. And it's just, anyway, it was a side. I wasn't meaning to talk about that, but it's so important. Really, really important. Okay, so Duxpus has followed you on Twitch. There you go. Thank you, Duxpus.
Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, so we were talking about stories.
Yeah.
So, your sort of mantra for stories is well, I'll let you say it. What is your idea about your game making style in the future? Because obviously you're still learning this yourself. You might have an idea of what you want your games to be like, but you are still learning this yourself. So how are you approaching your solo development journey from here? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, kind of. First up the gate, my focus is like trying to keep projects small. Because I'm doing them by myself, and I want to keep. My turnaround time to like 4 to 6 months a piece, that's not very big of a game if you want to go full presentation on it.
Yeah.
And then what is it? Hold on, I'm getting like dragged on there.
Sorry?
And so stories tends to be how I frame things, and that's how I start even when I'm looking at the gameplay. Mm-hmm. It's always I want to have it that I can still fit big story into small games. Story doesn't necessarily have to be like, the Silmarillion. Like the story could be like the interaction. Like I love gameplay on the micro, I call it, or like tiny odysseys. It's when a player attacks an opponent, is it a big slash? Does the player need to look like they need to look weakened? Does the player look like they're like they've been fighting for years, or they're brand new? That comes through in the performance and physicality of the character. And then there's the on the player hit, what happens to the thing that got hit? Was it an enemy? Was it a piece of wall? Does a hit reaction play? Does a sound play? And it's trying to take that focus and put it on tiny games. So for Itsy, that's trying to make basically an endless climber.
Yeah.
Now, when I started this, there was a bit of story, and then there was also a bit of, hey, last time I remember making mobile games, everybody was making endless runners. I'm glad that was 12 years ago. I'm glad the industry hasn't changed at all. And then I get out and I'm like making it. I'm like, and then you're like, there's a lot of those, and people get bored of them quickly. So like, what do you do to kind of retain the player? So right now I'm also looking at ways to kind of weave in narrative and theme and tone, because the other thing I wanted to carry over with Itsy is like, I love the idea of putting theme, like, you know, if it's about burnout or being caught in the same cycle of something again and again, like, but the thing is, you never tell the player that. Right. You never tell the player what your tone is. You show them it, you make the player feel that.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, I might absolutely not like mess up on not getting there, or I might realize that there's no audience for that whatsoever. Like, that's what I mean, the blind spots. But it's kind of like fail forward, you know. It's like, okay, get this one, and then I'll learn things better about that.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting way of attacking it, and I think it's a good way because a couple of reasons. One, I think the idea of finishing projects, just getting them done. Let's get some projects done, get the process nailed down so you know how to start to finish, release a game from nothing yourself, do it yourself, so you know how that works. And the fact that you are focusing on story, which again, like I've said before, it is a big weak point I find in indie. I don't say in indie games in general, but I do think the indies are either exceptional at the storytelling because they've got no boundaries, or they are technical demos with no real story. And it's a big problem I find where I'm playing a game, I'm like, yeah, this is cool, yeah. So what's the point? This is cool, but what am I playing here? What is this a technical demo I'm playing here, or is it any reason that I'm a three-legged mammoth? What's happening here?
So 100%, because like one of the questions you want to be able to ask when you're making these is, what feeling do I want the player to walk away with when they put down the controller?
Yeah.
And now this doesn't need this, and I really got to say that this doesn't need to mean that every game needs to be Undertale, right? Yeah. Like it could be like games are also Tetris and Dr. Mario and Baba Is You. Like they're like games where there's like, you still walk away with a feeling in the end, but there's not really a story. So like you can like, and like what I would call maybe the theme or something. And I think Baba Is You actually has like a bunch of lore written up about the endings, but like through the game, you're like, you might get inklings of it. But I like when they do that too, when they hide most of the iceberg away from you, and they're like, no, just feel this, but really the game's about this.
But the thing is, they those like Tetris, for example, they still have that. That may be lacking in story. Obviously, when you pick it up, no one knows the story of Tetris. If you do, whatever. Don't tell me that.
Copyright infringement.
Yeah. If you do know the story, okay, well done to you. But it's still got that satisfying gameplay loop, isn't it? They've got that nailed down. That's the thing. So if you don't have a story, then if your game doesn't have a story based around it, then it needs to have something else. It can't just be, it looks cool. You know, it's got to have, like I say, a cool gameplay loop. Something really satisfying, something really quick and easy. You're trying to satisfy something in the sort of game player, aren't you? Somewhere, whether that is, like adrenaline, or whether it's just repetitive play, that's satisfying, or high scores, or whatever it is you're trying to do. But you've got to know what you're targeting. 100%.
Yeah, and the high scores and adrenaline, the feeling that you walk away from in the end is that like, oh, that was that kind of heart-pounding excitement. That was good. Man, I really killed that one like puzzle room. That was great.
I totally agree. I just want to go into the chat a little bit. Yeah. Daredevil says a turn-based technical demo. Yes. No. Again, I'll show it. I'm not playing it. All right, don't make one. Essie Baz the Dev. Hello, you jumped over to Twitch. Hello. Thank you. Essie Woods says, do we know what type of games this gentleman likes or prefers? For playing reasons.
Yeah. Like games that make me cry. I love Undertale. I love Mother 3. I love Earthbound. I love basically any stories that get into that. Now, the thing is, and this kind of leads into why I'm opting to lean short instead of 80 hours of a gameplay, is that I don't have the time to play an 80-hour game anymore. And if I can get somebody that can make me cry in 2 to 5 hours, like Never Alone, like that's great. Like that little story of the girl and the spirit fox or whatever. Like and I kind of want to aim to that. Like, what's the 1 hour story feel like? What's the what's a yeah. I play a lot of things though, like Zelda, a lot of JRPGs growing up. I'm huge into Final Fantasy VI. I just finished Final Fantasy 16. I've been trying to go pick up some now. While in the industry, I had to focus on playing a lot of AAA games. I'm trying to lean away from that, so I'm trying to play more indie games now. So I've been playtesting Treacherous Journeys, Dire Prism. I don't know if it's in there. I just picked up Berserk Boy, and then also I saw like Wrath of the Karens. So so kind of getting so my tastes are pretty much all over the place. I tend not to like, aside from like sports games. Unless your sports game has robots, zombies, vampires, werewolves, or demons, we're okay. Like Base Wars for NES, the best baseball game that's ever been.
There you go. So I hope that answers your question, Essie. Essie says, so I'm going to cry if I play your game. You might do, Essie.
I hope so. I'm not a nice DM in that I find ways to emotionally upset my players.
Daredevil says Richard was playing a Zelda clone the other day that made him cry. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Don't even get me started. I have reported that to the developer, by the way. I have reported my issues.
You're like, no more on Spacebar.
Z Weasel, good. Thank you for the raid. Welcome along, everybody. How you doing, everybody? Very generous.
User not taken. Actually, no, I haven't got to play Helldivers 2 yet, but like everything I've been hearing has been amazing. I tend not to play online and multiplayer too much, but if you're really enjoying it, it might give it a whirl.
See, I love talking to different people because it's such a different style of like your gameplay likes and stuff. It's so different because you think, oh yeah, everyone likes the same type of games. Not at all. We can play completely different games. Glad you got your account back. Thank you, Z Weasel. I struggle to say that every time. I like it. It's a good name. Shelter 2 made me sob hard. I've never heard of Shelter 2.
That sounds like a great way to cry. Oh my god, no! I actually wanted to make this for my next game.
Well, we're all checking out Shelter 2. Have you? So Z Weasel, were you just playing that? Was that a game you played a long time ago, or have you just been playing that on stream? What have you been up to? The movie You've Got Mail gets me every time. Can you make that game?
Yes, sure. Yeah. You've got. Oh my god.
Baz, your name is Baz the Dev. You can make that game. Come on now.
What's it? Yeah, because like I mean, talking about theme and also kind of like planning out this next year. The hope is I'm aiming for like 3 games. We'll see if I'll even get close to that. Mm-hmm. The first game is Itsy, based on the Itsy Bitsy Spider, and like I said, so you're like, I wanted to take the child's like the Chloe, child's rhyme that we all know, and kind of maybe I don't know how much weight you can give it, but like give it some theme.
But it's a good way to test yourself as well, isn't it? Can you make an engaging like variation on the story Itsy Bitsy Spider? That's a challenge. It's almost like you're almost game jamming yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, can I make somebody cry with this? And I'm pouring a lot of like my own feelings of like working through burnout and just being kind of like stuck in a long situation for a long time, and it's kind of like, it's playing out through there. And then the second game, I want to do one based on my dog Marduk, because he's a rescue dog. That's why I saw that on Shelter, because I wanted the story of the dog going from like the shitty owner, but through the lens of the dog's eyes to like the good owner by the end.
Oh wow!
And then the third one, I just wanted to be like I want it to be like a short, like if they even make like a micro Metroidvania that's that deals with like a number of different grief loss and other things, like more specific meetings, but I won't get into it now. But and the stupid thing about that's the one I'm actually really excited to get to. That's my dessert. And it's a Metroidvania, and this is another stupid thing I thought about years ago. I love Metroidvanias. I love Metroid. I love Castlevania, and now now I get to the industry with indie, and they're like, oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
Oh,
we don't
they're
want it
everywhere. Nobody wants it. Do I just still make that, or do I change it to something else? We'll find
Again,
out.
I've said this before. Okay, we've got a million Metroidvanias, but how many great Metroidvanias do we have?
Yeah.
So just make your one of the great ones. That's all you got to do. I mean, I say all you got to do. I'm making that sound very easy. As a non-developer, you can tell that. Just all you got to do is just make a good one. So what have we got here in the chat? Get these gentlemen into a shampoo commercial today. You could swing your hair everywhere. Now back to game dev. Thank you, Essie. If anybody knows any hair sponsors, we're in. A deep or emotional story is quite a large sales driver for games in general. It's not something many can do properly, but done well, it's a powerful thing. It is, and in fact, what I would recommend, hang on, somewhere here. Is it here? Where is it? I keep knocking these books off the shelf, and they keep falling down, so they're in different order every time I look at them.
That's like Interstellar. That's a deep cut of a joke. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah. This is really interesting.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna put that on my list of things to look at.
Yeah, this is a good book. Really, again, just understanding the science of storytelling. It is what it is. So that's a good one to look at. It's always worth looking at. I think there might be a podcast for this as well. Just saying. Hang on. And the other one is this. This is another must-have. This is from someone in the industry. Not sponsored, by the way. This is just me sending you cool stuff, all right?
Oh yeah, no, it's great. Like sometimes I'll do that. I'll grab books off the shelf. I'm like, you must all read this.
Yeah, writing for game. This one's actually only available, I think, on her website. I think this is I think this is only available on her own website, routledge.com. Yeah, but yeah, it's a good one to read. Perfect. Very good, industry based. Okay, so User Not Taken says, how do you plan a story? The issue is that when you think of a story, you don't know if your game, code, or engine can do the things required in the story. That's a good question. User Not Taken. How do you build a story when you don't know what the outcome of the development is? Like you said, so if you are writing Lord of the Rings and you think, how the hell am I going to make this in pixel art, be this epic battle? So how do you plan a story? Do you have to almost have a game idea first? I don't know. You tell me, everybody. Has anybody in the chat got an experience with writing stories? What do you use to write a story? Do you have like a framework you go with? Do you what do you think, Ash? What do you reckon? Have you got any plans, any ideas for that?
No, that is a fantastic question. So for myself personally, that's the benefit of why I am liking solo development. When I'm scoping everything out, it's because I know my engine. I know what, like, my art isn't like great. It's like mid, right? But I know how to design things to that intention, so things at least feel unified. If they're not like crazily rendered, it can at least feel unified.
Yeah.
So I know what I can do with code, art, music, and what Game Maker can handle. And when I write down the story, I start with the intention. So like the itsy bitsy spider, and I'm like, well, what's the conflict? The conflict is tiny spider trying to make its way up a water spout against a giant torrential downpour of rainwater. That's the conflict. That's the villain. Okay, so how would you put a magnifying lens on that in game time? And so I tend to skew towards small. If I didn't know the programmer, if I didn't know the artist working on it, I had to do this when I was work. We did like a side project week, and I had like a small team of people to make a nice little like another cry me to sleep game. And it really came to knowing what your team can do, and also being able to describe your vision to the team down to like the asset list. Like, hey, this game is going to be 5 rooms long. In each of those rooms, I need 5 characters and 3 characters. Oh, the writing, I need like 5 characters in this room, so each of them need to say something along. I would give them kind of a tone or theme that I want them to say, and the writer would translate that into actual good writing.
But now you got to do that yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Like trying to write for a spider, that's terrible. Like I've been rolling through this in my head. It's just like, but it comes down to you being your own worst editor. Right?
Yeah.
Of
course.
It's when I write, I want to write paragraphs every time. I always overdo it. Always. To the point where I know that I need to come back and like strike out. So if I could take a paragraph and I can make Itzy say that paragraph in 1 or 2 words so that it feels small,
yep.
then it's matching the player and also doing what the art wanted to do. So it really is important to know your team and how you communicate that vision to them.
Yeah.
And also write to the weaknesses. If you can't, like you were saying, if you can't do Lord of the Rings in a big pixel art, like Mosaic,
although it looked pretty cool. It would look pretty cool.
Can you do it with like super can we rely on impressionism and Dadaism so that we can simplify the characters so that maybe they're simple silhouettes of just cubes?
Yeah.
And maybe the cubes it just kind of animate like a squash and stretch or something like that. How does a cube have emotion? And you can so you basically bring it down as small as you possibly can to fit your team.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit smaller than that, and then you made a nice tiny space. Then now you can take that nice tiny space and make it dense with intent.
Yeah. You can adjust. You can have your main story sort of idea out, mentally bring it into your skill level and also your development ideas, and then just like I said, just start adjusting what fits where and adjusting both the story and the actual development to each other. Yeah. You're never just going to go, oh, I've got this great idea, I'll just plonk it into the game maker. Oh, look, whatever, it's amazing, this works great.
You say, oh, look, I have this giant iceberg of an idea. I'm going to have it here, and I'm only going to show the player this part of it.
Yeah.
It kind of worked from that angle.
It's interesting. The story again. It's something we should all. I'd like to do some more videos and some more discussions on the storytelling of games, and again, books like these, like the Writing for Games. I know it's backwards. I'm sorry, it's reversed. I don't know why. Writing for Games, Theory and Practice. Really good book. So what have we got here? Baz says, I'm the wrong kind of developer. Oh, okay. You've got mail. The CRM would. That was all I could do. That might work as a mail. You could actually. It could be an email relationship, Baz. And it could just be a backwards and forwards. You could do that in a CRM. You imagine like 2 users logging into the CRM, who accidentally found the wrong logins, and they're communicating over the CRM and making adjustments to it, and they're having a relationship. So you go, Baz, you can do this. You got it. Let me know when you're done. Does the end of the game involve the rolled up newspaper?
That's
it's inspired. Get out!
Oh my god! With the dog one, if that was for the dog rescue one, it's an old newspaper.
Steve Ince has a few really good books on storytelling in games as well. Okay, thank you, Daredev. We'll have a look at Steve Ince. Ductopus says, "Can you watch this in Meg?" Yeah, backwards writing for games. Yes, thank you. Well, again, everybody, make sure you go to Twitter and follow Ash on Twitter. There, Automate Games. The link is in the chat. Please go and follow. Chicken and egg situation research for storytelling. Yeah, absolutely. You don't know what you've got. Thing is, it's like anything. You're not going to have the answer, but the only way you're going to get to the answer is just start and see what happens, and then you can work the answer out. You can't work it out when you've got nothing in front of you. You just got to start. Go right. I've got a story.
Hey, I might be absolutely dead wrong on like the approach, and that's why like you get it out there and you adjust based on that feedback. Like
Yeah.
I might put this out there and be like, oh, nobody wants to play games like this. You know, it's about roguelikes and crafting right now. I'm like, oh well, I'm not great at roguelikes. You know, like
Yeah.
you figure something else. So like, yeah, there's always space for being wrong and fail forward, fail fast.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I'll come back to you, user. I'll read down a second because it's a bigger question. Let me just. Essie says, "Will Otter reveal any frames tonight?" No, we don't have any gameplay tonight because we're very early on. This is the point. This is the thing. This is very early on and so we are just doing the introduction today. This is going to be an introduction to Ash, to discovering where he's coming from, what the plans are. So we don't have any gameplay to show you this week.
Yeah.
But then in future it will come in a regular update. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you shameless plug here, but if you follow my Twitter or I post my art updates to my Twitter and to my Twitch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You do. So there is a follow on Twitch, and I will also find
Twitter.
I will find your YouTube and share that as well while we're here. And let me just read the user not taken says there are also game structures that are more suitable for certain stories. Like if the game has linear levels one by one or an open area, do you decide the type of game structure first? Okay, so do you decide on what game you're making before you're making a story? I think it depends. I think that will just depend on how you personally work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some people are going to come at it from a more technical developer point of view and say, look, I want to make a platformer, and they'll look for a story that will fit that platformer. Where other people will go, oh, I've written a book. I need a game that's going to match the style of the book. So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. It just depends how you want to attack, how you work, I think.
Yeah.
What do you
actually, that showed up back in Game Art School in one of our design courses when they talked about the two different types of design. And one of them was German design. I don't really know if these names work anymore, but like when I learned it, it was German game design is mechanics first.
Yeah.
And mechanics only matter. Theme can be put on afterwards. You think about Settlers of Catan. How many different versions of that game exist, but they barely ever change the mechanics because they don't need to, because they made the mechanics rock solid first.
Yeah, they did.
Then the other design form, like the teacher called it American game design, but now that I live in Canada, that seems kind of weird to say. But it's more of a story first design, where it's like, what's my motivation? What's my story? And then I build around that.
It's interesting.
I've done both. I've had ones where I'm like, you know what, like I want to try to make it this kind of game, and I'm going to do that, and I try to find a story for it. And then a lot of the other times, though, mostly it's I start with a story, and then I try to find game mechanics that fit. Like, for example, like the game number 2 I want this year is the dog the dog bad owner, or whatever rescue game you want to call it. And I know what the story is, but I don't like the gameplay. I'm like, okay, if people like Endless Runners with story, like if Itzy does that and people like that, okay, well then the Marduk game is going to be, Marduk is the name of my husky. The Marduk game is, we can do it again. We can do Endless Runner with theme again, but this time you're running horizontally rather than vertically climbing, but that might not work. And I might find out that nobody likes that, and I'm like, okay, well maybe I would rather than have it being a Endless Runner ratchet scroller, maybe it can be something that's more akin to like a platformer, action platformer like Mega Man X, because that's some, I'm more just nostalgic to that. I don't know if that's a really good game to make at the moment, but like, like in my head, I'm like, I know the one I'm making right now, and in my head, the ideas are there, but they're kind of like sort of wobbly and gray and not fully detailed yet.
And because you're not working on it yet either, are you? So you don't know where you're going to go with it until you actually start working on it again. So the user says, I am just confused by scope, engine, code, and story. It's like 3 variables and none of them can be set in stone until they all change shape at the same time. Yeah, again, but that's like any project, user. I mean, it's like anything you do.
Yeah.
You know, there's no right answer. There's various ways to approach development of anything. You know, like it's like when you're decorating a room, it can be the same as that. You know, some people just want to start by stripping the wallpaper and doing all that first, whereas other people will clear the room out completely first and prep every inch of it. Whereas that's not me. I would just start ripping stuff out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then attack it again. At the end of the day, you're going to come out with, at the end of it, you're going to have a painted room. It's the same, but it's just, you just got to find the way you work as well.
Yeah.
So Daredev says, for story progression, you need a design with hard points, things that can happen on every playthrough, and you attach the progression to those hard points. Most design templates will fit this. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
That's a great way to abstract it, Daredev.
Yeah. There are projects that were much easier. For instance, I had a platformer game, and the story was basically a bad guy steals your dog, and you go and save it. Okay. And
I'm in already.
Yeah, that's just sold. And fight the bad guy's goons. I thought I said mum then. I don't know why. Fight the bad guy's mum until you save the dog. And that's a much simpler. Yeah, but the thing is, if that's the story, it doesn't need to be. That's the story. You know, there you go. I mean, there's nothing more you need to add. But again, if the story can be great and your game can be absolute garbage. And then the story's pointless.
Oh my god, that's so true.
Yeah, so it doesn't. You might go, oh my god, I've written the greatest story in human history, and then you play the game, and it's like, wow, you saw my stream the other day. I was very excited about a game, and it had the worst control system of any game I've ever played, and made the whole game pointless. So, yeah,
I've had. Oh my god, I've had people sit down sometimes to do I've had like play tested, right? And oh my god, tutorializing the player is so garbage, because it's just like, you know, you're sitting down, you have an expectation for how, you know, keyboard controls can work, and that, you know, and that's based on all the other keyboard controls you played so far, showing around like a mobile game on an app, and you're like, well, if it's a tap on this to do something, but you hand it to somebody and all their experience is flick, 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 flick. And then you sit them, you give them the game, and you watch them sit down and flick, 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 without even stopping to read any of the tutorial. You're going, you know, it's kind of like, are you in design that's called you're kind of working against your affordances? Because designing by affordances let's just say it's kind of we look at doors, right? You have doors with a bar that you. Like, what do you think when you see a door with a bar, like a horizontal bar? It's a push door, not a pull door, right?
I think it's a push
most of the time.
Yes.
Right. Because it's been built up into us over time, and so that if I go and design another door, I need to keep that in mind. If it's a push door, that people are going to think that, versus, you know, when the handle versus the push. So it's kind of like you can try. Like I want to do something brave and daring and different, but nobody knows how to do this yet, and it would take eons to explain it to them. It's better for me to like.
Just go with what's the obvious.
Yeah, it's like, you know, with I for inventory on keyboard.
Yes, absolutely. Well, now we're going to move on from story a little bit now. But great question. Again, I think the story question is going to come up a lot in these series, because I think it's something that we need to talk about and make sure that we're all thinking about it. Well, I say we. I'm not going to make any game, but you know what I mean. Or you guys are thinking about it, so you can think about it when you're making a game. Off-Quid. Was that the rant I saw on Twitter? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That was my tweet of. That was my tweet of. Dear devs, spacebar should never be inventory. Yes, that was that one. Yes, it was. Anyway, okay, so let's just talk about. I want to move on. We're gonna push it along towards the end of it now. But I do want to mention. So you have chosen Game Maker as your engine.
100%. Yep.
What was the reason for Game Maker?
They aren't perfect reasons, I'll say that. One of them was I wanted to get as far away from using anything that was like Frostbite as much as possible, because when you're working in terms of like engine complexity, that was just like I feel like I grinded out use of my life on it. It's okay. Like what the I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on the programmers, because I'm not. Like they have managed to put together something like really incredible in terms of like rendering capabilities in an engine. It just the dev day-to-day experience, I wanted something that was simple, light, easy, well documented, and basically, I live for limiting myself creatively to help me create. If I worked in Unity for like 4 or 5 years, like collectively, I'm comfortable in that engine. I can build something in Unity. But I felt like Unity was too much. Like, you can do anything. You can make a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You can make a sports game. You can make a go-kart trading card battle game if you wanted.
Don't do that.
Don't, please. Don't.
do that.
Don't do that.
I'm turning
but
off.
You could.
Yeah.
But when I'm working in Game Maker, I'm limiting myself to the sprite works. Yes, they do have 3D textures you can do, but I'm not using those. But like, it's limiting myself in terms of the light, in terms of the design. Everything gets scoped down to kind of fit that. Not saying the Game Maker only has to make small, but it really forces my hand.
Yeah.
And in the end, any engine you pick is really just going to come down to what you're comfortable with, and it's pixels in the end.
Yeah, it's a tool.
So,
it's just still a tool, isn't it? I mean, I know we've got people like Daredev in the chat there. I know is very much on the make your own engine bandwagon, which is again great, but it's just another thing you've got to then do, isn't it? If you're starting out and you just want to pump some games out to test on your theory of, especially if you're just starting in indie dev and you've suddenly got a, it makes sense to what you're doing. Game Maker seems to be a very popular engine for, like I say, quickly just getting something done that you want to get done and see where you are from that. So it does make sense. Now, I do want to talk about, again, just briefly, I want to just mention the word marketing. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I'm sorry. So, again, I'm not going to go into this. Is not going to be a marketing show, but I do want to talk about it's something that you are obviously, being at a AAA studio, you are massively aware of the importance of marketing a game. Because, again, if you make an awesome game and no one knows about it, what was the point?
Yeah.
I mean, you might like it. Well done. Well
an
done.
art house piece.
Yeah, bravo. Wow, great. You've painted Picasso and you hang it on your own wall. What was the point? So, have you made any allowances or have you thought about your marketing in general? I know you know idea that yet, but this is what I want to do. I want to talk about, when are you starting to think about how you're going to market your games? Or has it already begun?
All the time now. When I started this, I was like, oh, cool, I'll be able to develop all day, every day. I'll have this game done in no time. But, that's half the reason why it slows me out, because it's like, okay, I kind of have to divide up my week or my weeks into I'm going to be doing dev stuff most of the time. And then it's like, no, I need to be doing marketing. So I need to be working on my YouTube video. I need to be streaming. I need to be on Twitter, letting people know what's going to happen. And a lot of times you just feel like you're just shouting the stuff into the void. But you kind of have to learn to trust that what you're doing is you're setting up consistency on your feed.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing with going and doing the Twitch. I love the people that come to hang out with it, but even if you're if you're doing minus 10 numbers on minus 10 watchers on Twitch, which are in my head I'm like, that's okay. It's about the consistency. So that's why I'll trying to keep to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday for that. The YouTube videos. Yep. I try to capture footage while I'm working, so I have a camera bars and all the talk. I hate that. I'm never good at that. I always go. People end up going off, and I just kind of I don't know. It's just how my brain works. It's not easy. So this is. I'm trying to think of the marketing that would be effective, but then I can also I can sit on a stream. I could cut together a YouTube video. I don't mind posting to Twitter and Blue Sky. When it gets to the actual, do I need to go out and hobnob and talk and meet people? Yeah. That will probably be the most difficult. Okay. But that in the way games are marketed today, that doesn't seem to come up as often.
Yeah, you can do a lot of marketing without going to any. Without going to any events. You can do a lot of marketing. You don't have to go face to face. It's great face to face, but I really don't think it's as vital anymore as it used to be to be honest. Are you on TikTok yet?
No. Should I be? Before.
Well, you can go very well. Yeah, before America outlaw TikTok, you know, I know you're not in the States, are you? But I'm just saying, but that if, it's going to take a massive dive if you know, the USA are kicked out of TikTok or they decide to ban it, whatever they're going to do.
Right.
But yeah, your customers are not at GDC. Yeah, absolutely. The customers are watching the TikTok feed. They're watching YouTube Shorts. That's what they're doing. Again, GDC is great if you want to mingle with like-minded people, kind of like this. If you want to talk to cool people about what they're working on, or you want to talk to some maybe more industry people, great. And you are right, they are not a GDC, but you are also wrong because most developers are also your customers. They play a lot of games as well. So don't forget, they're like everybody here. You've all played games before, so you are gamers as well as developers. So you are correct there, Dev. That is not your market, but developers are also players. Remember that. TikTok is second at this point, only to Steamfest in terms of generating visibility. Again, Dev, I'm gonna agree and disagree with you. TikTok done well is massively beneficial. TikTok otherwise is very hard to get right because it's a constant. What you think works on TikTok, you know, I've had videos get a couple of thousand views. I'm like, oh yeah, here we go, 4,000 or 5,000 views. I'm like, yes, now we're cooking. I'll do the same video style the same next day, nothing. And you're like, oh, I give up. And so it's really hard. If anybody's got any TikTok advice, go for it. I've done highly edited voiceover videos. I've done videos just holding my phone in my car. They get the same amount of views. Doesn't make any difference. So
yeah, I've heard
good luck
that.
to you.
Okay, yeah.
Good luck to you. I mean, it's definitely worth a try. I definitely think it's worth a try. But I would definitely queue up a load of TikToks first and release them all the time, 1 or 2 a day, just to try and push that algorithm in. But oh my god, it's a nightmare.
I think one part, and maybe this has already been solved somewhere, but I mean, it's the number of indie devs who are pretty atomized. Is I've been wanting to find different ways to get in touch with, because you want to get in touch with your audience, right? So it's like, you know, where's the listing that says, hey, I need YouTubers that play Endless Runners on mobile or something, and then you go chase after them. I'm not asking people for that here, but it just in my head, well, like that's kind of the biggest marketing question I've been mulling over. Yeah, because it's kind of like you always have to be thinking of what are different ways I need to, you know, push out for that. But those always feel really one-off, and you can only really build up to them. I don't know. That's why I like being able to have the longer dev stories.
Well, I think it's interesting. Like I say, during this journey that we're going to be just following you along here, it would be interesting to say, like, if you do decide to start a TikTok or whatever you do decide to do, just let us know on how it's going and what you're finding. Even if it's just YouTube, let us know what you're finding the most successful for your exposure. Like during this process, if you say, yeah, this month I've been doing most of my marketing's been via Twitch streams, and then we can say, okay, how's that gone for you? And you go, useless, terrible, I've made no. Or you might go, do you know what? It's been the best growth because people are discovering who I am, and that's what's really helping me grow. So it'd be interesting to find out. And again, as we've got, you know, a few developers doing this series, finding out which way they're working on, and we might say, hey, the other guy last week said that, you know, TikTok was the best way for them, and you might go, okay, let me try that then. So it's always good to talk about it and find out. As most people are here are developers, apart from Baz, who makes CRM, CRM, whatever you make. I heard TikTok, Twitter, YouTube is worth it only if you have someone dedicated for doing this for you. Otherwise, it's a waste much of your time. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's going to help if you've got somebody 24 hours a day making TikToks out of your content and stuff. That's huge. It's going to be massively beneficial anyway. But I think you can still be successful even if you are just a solo dev. Again, I'll come back to Lenti, the developer on a boat, is probably my best example always for this, where she's developing a game from living on a boat, and she is making a game about a boat, about cleaning up oil spills. That's a super simple idea, you think, but she's wrapped it around her own life. And she's just been sharing on TikTok, hey, I'm Lenta, I live on a boat, and I'm making a game about clearing up oil spills in the sea. Hope you like my game. Come and follow her. That's it. That's all she's done. I say all she's done. Great credit to her. But that's it. And she's got huge following. I mean, I don't know how many. I think she was on 16,000 Twitter followers last time I saw. And her Kickstarter got backed in like a day. Because she had that nailed down. She was just sharing. And again, she didn't just share that video once. She made the same video in a slightly different way about 50 times. You know, one was standing on the boat. Hey, I'm Lenti. I'm making a story. Okay. Next one was she was sat on the sofa. Hey, I'm Lenti. I'm making a story about. And I just kept seeing this video all the time. And that's what you got to do. You just got to keep hammering people, basically, with the same story, just slightly different. So you can do it on your own.
Oh man, yeah. Just nice to have that intention set. There's almost like what is it? Off-grid game dev.
Off-grid game dev. Yes.
Oh, they here.
Another.
Oh, wait, okay, yeah. I know. I think I saw one of the when I saw them on Twitter. I saw the picture that was like making games with solar power and that was kind of wrapped in the game. But like having like you're talking about it kind of helps when the identity of the studio to the game kind of have a little bit more outside the game.
Yeah, but again, you've already stated your sort of your identity is, like I said, big stories, small packages, and you can really build on that and say, hey, I'm Ash, I'm making some games, and then you can focus on explain why you're quickly doing that. I make big stories in small packages, and you just do a little clip of your little spider or whatever, and just people go, what's all that about? And you just got to make people go, oh yeah, and then you just do that video again, like I said, 50 times, just slightly differently, and you just keep building it up. Like again, off-grid game dev, making a game about living off-grid. I mean, that's a perfect, and now you've got so much marketing built in there. I'm a developer who lives off-grid in the forest. And my game is about living off-grid in the forest. Here it is. And it means people connect you and the game together. And you're going to find the right people, because the people who like off-grid stuff are also finding you and your game at the same time. So you just got to find something. This is what I'm saying about making technical demos. If you don't have any sort of angle of anything, you're just making technical demos for people with no real reason. So you've got to be careful not to fall into that just for the sake of making. Just because you can make a game doesn't mean you actually should make the game. Yeah. Anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, as we don't have any gameplay this week, because we are right at the start, let's talk about the timeline.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
But you still just get trapped in the dev bubble regardless of your story. No, I disagree.
Based on Twitter.
But, yeah. You can. Of course, it is very easy to get caught in the, again, hashtag game dev. Well, yeah, if you put hashtag game dev and everything, you're going to hit the game dev people, aren't you? So you got to find out what the people who play your types of games, is it cozy? Is it the people who what are they searching for? What are they looking for? What are they watching on Twitter? Are they watching, what other Twitch streamers are the cozy people watching? You can often find that. If you find someone on Twitter and you're like, these look like on the outside the type of person that I want to target with my game, click on who they're following, go to their people they're following list and just follow all the people that they're following, and then you're gonna be finding out what their real interests are. You don't have to follow everyone, but you can go through the list and click on everyone they're following and go, these are these, so they are into this type of person. Then you know who you're targeting the right people. But anyway, I checked Keymailer, by the way, and I'm very satisfied with it. Keymailer, nice. Again, I can't remember that conversation, but I'm glad that's worked for you, user. Social media limits your reach to users it thinks you're like, etc. So as I said earlier, get tracked quickly. Yeah. Okay. So sorry. Let's go back to the timeline. So what would you like to share? What would you like? So we're going to come back in 4 weeks' time, everybody. 4 weeks. Yeah. It'll be Thursday again. I think all the shows are generally going to be on Thursday, by the way. So the next show with Ash here is probably, I'm going to say probably because we've both got lives. Stuff happens. You can't always plan this. So we are looking like it's going to be the 4th of April for the follow-up. 1, 2, 3. No, it's not. It's going to be I've got to go down one. What's that? The 11th.
Yep.
That's it. And other numbers. The 11th of April is going to be the follow-up. So what would you like to be able to show off? What are you looking to achieve in this month of development? I'm turning the page to give you What are you going to show
sure.
us? What's the plan? And we can come back and see how you're getting on. I've lost my pens.
Yeah. So coming back next month, I would like to have obviously gameplay, presentation up to a certain point. So in terms of the sprite art and the looks of things and VFX, most of the focus would be on like the gameplay itself and its feel. Beyond that, the things that are maybes are having the music and sound and leaderboards. Hopefully, maybe just sound or music, sound, leaderboards, and I think those ones might be on the maybe not. But otherwise, it should be a solid technical experience.
So you've set this to be what is the time limit you've put on this game, specifically this game? Have you set a rough one at all?
3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months, and are you talking June?
I'm going into no. This is next month will be the third month.
Oh, okay, right, okay. So next week, I'm going to say that all the time.
Oh my God, no, sorry.
Next month, sound like a manager. Next week, you're going to have that ready for me. What? So next month, you want to show us some gameplay. We're going to have a look at some. That's what you're looking to achieve. You want to show some gameplay. You want to have the presentation like tarted up a bit, make sure it's nice and neat, make sure everything's nice and tight. And then you're hoping to maybe start looking at sound and leaderboards. So we'll see how you get on with that. And we please make a note of the stuff that you are. If you haven't done something, that is also just as interesting to everyone. So why have you not? So say you fail on one of them. I say fail, but if you fail on one of them, we want to know what caused you to get delayed on that. What was the reason you delayed? So it doesn't have to. Like I said, this is not you have to get these done or else. It's the idea is this is what you want to get done. It gives you a bit of something to focus on. Say I need to get this. I want to get this ready. Not I need to. I want to get this ready for the 11th. I'd like to show something off. So it gives you a little bit of a push to show something off. We can all come back and go, okay, you said you're going to do this last month. Let's see what you got to, and then we can just talk about how you got on and what problems you found, if any. We like Otter and Richard, of course. Oh, I'm just like, what am I, like the sidekick on the side? Am I? Oh, he's all right. Cheers, Essie. It's Essie. We're all right. It's okay, Essie. We love you, Essie. Longer than mine. It's fine. Oh yeah. Start memorizing the DuckTales song just in case. Yeah, that's the thing. That's it. If you don't do it, you have to sing it. So, what are the chances of having Ducktopus and then proper duck games right below on the message? Look at that, 2 ducks and 1 chat. There's a joke.
If there's a goose after that, I'm freaked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's all right. Did Paul disappear? By the way, no, Paul did not disappear. So Paul is mainly involved in the virtual indie booth, which we are trying to bring back. It's just a lot of the virtual indie booth is a lot of organisation. By the way, I'll tell you that. But yeah, no, Paul's still here. I just haven't. I've been setting up DevTales. Woohoo! It's taken a lot of my mental and again I've had to go and get a job delivering parcels to everybody in the day. So if I'm not around in the day, that's why, because money. Richard equals minor universe otter. Ducks make the best indie mascots. They do. Proper Duck Games is correct. All right. So that's the plan. What is your most... We're going to talk about your socials now. So we're going to share the links you've got. I'm going to share them all again. Well, the Twitter's been posting every 10 minutes. So you guys should have seen that already by now. I will repost the YouTube channel. But while I'm doing this, what is your main focus? Like, what is your main... Do you have a main social media platform that you would like to push? Like, if everybody here only had to go and follow one, where would you push them and why?
Oh, my God.
That sounds like a dating show, doesn't it?
No. Oh, no. Yeah, right. It's like...
So there is...
my Twitter is where I am constantly... I try to be posting daily, and I'll usually message everything about my other socials from Twitter.
Yep.
But if it's okay, while I'm here, I do want to say I did just drop a new episode of my YouTube channel, my YouTube series today.
I've just put the link in chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Episode 2, Tiny Odysseys.
Tiny.
It has nothing to do with what we talked about today.
He's going to rewrite it now because he's just realised. Oh,
No, right.
I've got new ideas. Nobody cut their hair until next meetup. I haven't cut my hair for 20 years. Actually, you got no chance.
It's staying.
Yeah, I don't cut my hair. It's just how it is. So that's interesting. So again, the Twitter has been going through the chat all night, so you should have clicked that by now. But please go and make sure you go and follow Ash on there. What is a haircut? Yeah, I've saved loads. That's how I could afford so many games, because I didn't spend all my pocket. I didn't spend all my pocket money on haircuts like the other losers.
This goes to shampoo and
yeah, they'd come around with their neat haircuts. I'm like, loser, I've got the new Mario game. Yeah, have that.
Real hair physics.
Yeah, we can study us for hair physics. So please go and follow Ash so you can keep up to date. That was the DevTales second show. Again, I'm not going to say sorry for the audio and technical issues earlier on. You know this, you've been here before, you know what happens. Live streaming is like a nightmare, isn't it? Hopefully we get some YouTube chat next week. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? The VOD will be available forever, so this will be in a playlist on the YouTube channel, and it will also be on the Twitch VOD section that no one ever looks at, but it will be there if you want it. So if you want to catch up last week, you can catch up with Rasmus last week with his Dino Racing, might not be racing anymore, Dino Racing game.
Cars.
Yeah, Dino Cars. You can follow Rasmus there on the VODs, and of course, big thank you to Ash for joining us this evening or daytime for you, as it were.
Hell yeah! Thank you for having me. This is great. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been lovely. I appreciate all your questions, everybody. Thank you so much for all the questions. Again, this show is nearly pointless if you don't ask questions and join in, because otherwise, who are we talking to? We're just talking to each other. We don't need to stream it, do we? Otherwise, so we appreciate it very much.
It's a conversation.
We're just chatting to each other. I mean, Christ. But yeah, that wraps up the show, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in 4 weeks, Ash.
Cheers. Yeah, it's on. Excited.
So yeah, you either get working or get rehearsing DevTales song. All right. One or the other.
Cheers. I'll do both. Whatever. It's good.
Right, good night everybody, see you next time. I'll be live again at some point. If you want to see me butcher some other person's demo that I'm going to moan at the controls, you can do that. So make sure you're following on Twitch or on YouTube on my stuff, and we'll see you next time. So good night everybody. And we expect the game to be done, said Essie. Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
no,
crack on.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, he's working on a hair simulator game next. All right, I'm going. This is good nonsense now.
See you.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I've pressed the stop button. Good night. I never trust when it says it stopped. I'm like, yep, let me just wait.